Located on Sloane Street, just off of Sloane Square, is another one of Chelsea's important links to history and heritage, Holy Trinity Church. It is one of the most unique and beautifully decorated churches in Kensington and Chelsea. The interior is plush in detail and ornamentation from every direction and genuinely reflects the beliefs of the artists who participated in creating it. Artists such as Burne-Jones, William Morris, and Sir William Blake Richmond. The essential belief and practice of the arts and crafts movement was a return to the appreciation of nature and prestige of craftsmanship. This is apparent through the organic shapes and intricate designs of imagery and sculpture throughout the church. Unusual in design, the interior of Holy Trinity is much wider on the north side than the south, not to mention one of the widest naves in the capital. The four main electric chandeliers hanging over the aisle were installed in the 19th century. The metal fastenings that attach each one to the roof bear the Cadogan arms. These are replicas of the originals that were destroyed during World War II. The windows and design of the clerestory allow much more natural light to pour in rather than the lower half, magnifying the two-tone coloring of gold and blue that highlights its best features. The design of Holy Trinity was done by the distinguished architect John Setting. He was a strong supporter and firm believer in the arts and crafts movement. Setting's memorial can be seen on the north wall in the Lady Chapel. It was built by the Art Workers Guild in which Setting was a member of. A number of original designs by Setting remain prevalent in the church today, such as the organically conceptualized iron gates that display a flowing floral motif. At the time of construction, the best sculptors, craftsmen, and guilds were employed to work on the cathedral. Pleasant in expression and inviting in depiction, these handcrafted angels are displayed on the pillars of the gates as well as the panels of the choir stalls. The imagery depicted on the oak cast bronze panels of the choir stalls that run parallel to each other are that of David with his harp and St. John writing the Book of Revelation. So much detail and precision in these pieces illuminates each part of the chancel, adding unique character and individuality to Holy Trinity. Almost every object in the church can be seen as its own piece of art. Objects such as these wall hangings that were done by William Morris.
The visitors tend to want to see as soon as they come in because of the windows, although the church is full of so many different things which usually people pop in just simply to see one aspect, and particularly the large William Morris Burne-Jones window, but then get caught up with the rest of the detail of the church. And those of us who live here and work here every day find that there are new things to discover all the time, and so you look at the intricate detail in the windows and you find new faces and new things, so it's very good. And recently we've had them completely restored, cleaned, and so now we see even more detail, which is wonderful. I mean, the large window over the high altar is the largest that the Morris Company ever made, and in many ways it's a catalogue of what they were capable of doing. So we see there, I mean, windows which are reproduced elsewhere in the world, but brought together in this particular collection. It is the largest that they ever made. And they used to bring people to Holy Trinity Church simply to see what nowadays we would see on the internet, and you would look to see what a company was capable of doing. Well, they had to bring them to see the reality.
The top row consists of 12 apostles, followed by an image of Adam on the left and King David on the far right. Directly next to them are images of important figures from both the Old and New Testament. The third row down is filled with 4 bishops on the right and left side. In between them are 4 images of women from the Old and New Testament. And the last row is of various martyrs.
And the other windows in church, which in many ways are perhaps even more splendid than the large east window. On this side, in the Lady Chapel, a set of windows by Sir William Blake Richmond. And then the rest of the imagery in the window are also of both in Old Testament and New Testament. And we see Saul trying to be soothed by David, playing the harp. And also we see on the bottom right-hand corner Adam and Eve and the children in the garden working. But the rest of the imagery in the window is to reflect this idea of youthfulness of the youthful Christ back. And all the windows in church have been cleaned both inside and out. And when they were cleaned, they analysed what deposits were on the glass. And of course, a lot of the deposits on the inside of the glass were from the war damage when the roof was burnt off. And the glass was most probably brushed clean rather than cleansed properly. So once they began to clean it with a mixture of 50% nail polish remover and deionized water, it just lifted all the grime both inside and out, and that's why we see them now in the most splendid colours.
The seductive, luscious appeal of Holy Trinity is difficult to escape and can not only be seen but felt throughout the church. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by its beauty and charm. Setting, Morris, Burne-Jones, as well as the other crafts and guild members, were successful in their task of reflecting the beauty of nature into architecture.